Woo! All right. What a win by the Gophers. 48-23 on homecoming. I think it's just safe to say, Max. I mean, we've been saying, this homecoming curse. I mean, what a way to break that curse. The Gophers totally decimate the Maryland Terrapins today on homecoming at home. 3 straight wins in the Big Ten, making it 5-3 on the season. Got my good friends with me, Max and Kurt. How you feeling, guys? I mean, we were worried about this game. I will say I was the most confident based on score predictions. Um, but I gotta say, this was more impressive than I would have thought. Give me your initial reactions, Curdy. Start with
Yeah,
you. What do you think, man?
it was the most stress-free victory of the season, and I really didn't think that was going to go that way, but I'm happy it did. Yeah, I mean, just initial thoughts. Brosmer was once again awesome. Daniel Jackson, very great game, and then the defense took care of business. Didn't give them much in the first half. Scored off a pick six there to really break it open, and yeah, we didn't just once we got up there, I thought PJ might just look at running the ball like we've seen in years past and just maintain a big lead, but we really just put our foot down there and kept throwing even when they were. I mean, I don't really know what Maryland was doing, to be honest. Most of the game, they had 8 guys in the box and were like daring us to throw, and we did, and it worked out really well for us. And we were able to create a few turnovers, and it's pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, we looked good in all phases. Started off fast. We had that first stop, and then the offense took off, and it was like we just didn't even slow down ever. Well, I shouldn't say we didn't slow down. It seemed like a little bit there in the second quarter. We kind of went into a little bit of like not a shell, but it just kind of like we took the foot off the gas for a second, and
The
it was
run
like we
on third and
realized,
seven when Brosmer was
yeah,
10 of 13, 100 some yards and 2 touchdowns didn't make a
right,
lot of sense to me.
yeah,
Especially when you're playing for a field goal there with Kesich, who had a great game, 2 for 2, nice job. But like he was pretty shaky coming into it. So yeah, I
yeah.
agree. When we ran outside with Newbin to the short side of the field, that was a little questionable. But I guess it's a good thing when we're nitpicking that call of all things on a game like this.
Right. Yeah, when you're up 3 scores, it felt like we were going to see old PJ come back of like, well, let's just try to run out the clock from early in the second quarter. But then after that one drive, it was like, okay, let's just go with what works. Seeing us move down the field before halftime there was something
Yeah.
that I feel like have been just begging for,
Yeah.
and we did it. Not only did we do it, we executed it perfectly. And like you said, Brosmer was on fire today. Like from the get go, he didn't look jumpy. He had, I mean, not a lot of pressure put on him, which helps, but everything all around just looked great today.
Yeah. And Max, to your point, the fact that PJ was going for that, like at the end of the first half, given how much we were up by, I mean, at that point, it's 31-3 or 31-10 at that point, right? You don't really need to get any more points on the board. I mean, if you're PJ, right? And he does that anyway. And again, that's changing your best that we're seeing from PJ. That I'm loving every bit of that. Kurt, you mentioned that third down. That kind of was, you know, what we expect from PJ when he does something like that. But yeah, that end of the half, getting the field goal just to keep your foot on the gas was awesome. Let's talk a little bit about this. I think all of our viewers know, and again, anyone go ahead and comment and let us know what you think about the game. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Go ahead and chime in. But let's talk about just offense and defense and special teams here. I think breaking it down drive by drive isn't necessary because it was a complete just go for victory, takeover in all phases. But let's start offensively. I just think that this game proved that we have to throw to open the run. I think that's just what this game the story of the game was, right? Um, Brosmer is just looking lights out. He looks so comfortable now. The line looks like they know exactly what to do during these pass plays. I just feel like everything is clicking with this offense when it comes to throwing the ball. Can't say enough about Daniel Jackson, right? I mean, it. He was a leading receiver, 9 receptions, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, 9 receptions. It seems like
Most
he
of
was
that was in the
involved way
first
more
half.
than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it. Yeah, and the first half was like the most of his production, right? I mean, it was just an outstanding performance with him. Elijah Spencer got involved. Lemecki Brockington was involved. Everyone was getting involved, and it was just a great performance. But yeah, I think the story of the game for me, fellas, is the pass is going to open the run. That's just what I got. That's my main takeaway from this.
Yeah, and I didn't think it was like a bad game by the offensive line. Like as far as running the ball, it just again, I think Maryland just stuck to putting numbers in the box for them and wanted to see us throw it down the field to beat them, and we did today. So, there wasn't a ton of deep shots taken. There was the Elijah Spencer touchdown that was pretty open. That was what, like 25 yards or so. But yeah, I mean, Brosmer just kind of picked him apart piece by piece and moved us down the field. And they never really adjusted. And Darius Taylor still caught the ball out of the backfield. So I'm not really sure what, honestly, Maryland's defensive plan was. It felt like they came in and wanted to take Darius Taylor out of the game. And I don't know. I mean, they never even put two guys. It didn't feel like they even really doubled Daniel Jackson very often. So he always found the hole in the zone. And I mean, one-on-one, we won a lot of those battles today too. So shout out to the receivers there. And yeah, Brosmer, I think, just again outstanding. Nice to see Gears get a redemption catch down the field there.
Yeah.
Also in this one, that was good to see. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know the offensive line, they had that one false start. I don't think they had a hold. So overall, I mean, people can complain about the rushing yards. I think we ended up. Let me look here. We still ended up with more rushing yards than the Terps, which is a little bit surprising, just because I mean we were all passing basically up until the second half. Darius Taylor did it rip off that long one there, but yeah, I mean I don't have a lot of complaints about the offense, to be honest. Yes, it would be nice to be able to run the ball whenever you want to, like maybe we've seen with Mo in the past, but obviously that's just not what the team is this year. And to be able to lean on Max Brosmer in the passing game, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, you hit on it, Spence. Being able to throw to set up the run. Like earlier on, it felt like when we didn't felt like we were going to have to rely on the run game a lot, and then work off of that into to build into the pass game. It was a lot of play action or kind of let's set up a look that might look like a run, a slow developing play that's going to turn into a pass. It's obvious that we're most effective when Brosmer can just get the ball in his hands and get it out quick, because we've got playmakers everywhere. And if he can just survey the field and make a read and make a throw, he's going to do it. Like, we don't need to try to fool the defense to get him off, get him off balance or give him some sort of look to make him think it's going to be a run. And then, we hit the tight end open down the seam. Just let the guy make a play. I mean, that's something we haven't seen in a while. But kudos to the offensive coordinators and PJ and everyone else for playing to our strengths. And, like you said, hopefully the run game can get better and the offensive line can improve in the run blocking game. But I mean, Darius Taylor and Marcus Major, like, they still look like they can be explosive at times, and they've got, a lot of talent there still. So if we can open up holes, like, it's still an area of improvement, but I'd rather have that be an area of improvement versus, like, third and long, we just cannot complete a pass. I mean, that's
Right.
not how it's been this year, especially this game. So
One thing I wanted to add too, I'm curious to see what Rosemer's like depth of target was, because we haven't really tested most teams deep down the field this year. And not that we did that a ton today. A lot of it was hitting guys on the run, which is great. But it felt like we maybe took a couple more steps closer to that, just a little bit, with the Gears play in mind, and the Elijah Spencer touchdown. So I mean, once you work that in, then I feel like the passing offense is pretty much ready to go, because you got the screen play. We can do the quick passing game. been pretty successful finding Spencer and Daniel Jackson in the intermediate passing game. So if you can just develop a little bit more consistency, pushing the ball down the field vertically, yeah, I mean, you got everything going for you then.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Brosmer. 26 for 33, 320 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Guy was on fire today. And, I just think that he's just the captain out there. He's just leading this offense to a place where I feel like we haven't been since 2019. It's reminiscent of that. Granted, running the football could be a little better. And like you said, Kurt, I think that there's still time for that to grow. But today, I don't think that there was a point to even run the football. I do think that coaching wise, we're kind of just giving them what they're based on the defense. We're really just trying to make some plays based on what the defense is showing. They had all these players in the box. Why not just throw the ball, make them beat you there, and then maybe go for the run if that's not working? And yeah, it was just a tremendous feat, I think. I just got to say, too, Daniel Jackson, fellas, I just think that he is a lights out player. I'm glad that he got the action that he did today. It seems like, he's obviously the best receiver, and I think before today he has 1-2 touchdowns on the year, but today was really his day where it was shown that the caliber receiver that he could be, maybe even in the next level of the NFL. I'm just glad that he had a showing today for that sake. Just want to shout him out because, yeah, he had a great day.
Yeah. And then I've texted you guys this too, but on the touchdown, the catch by Elijah Spencer on, I think it was the second touchdown of the game, where the throw was great and the catch was even better to the back of the end zone. Like,
yeah.
I felt there was two other guys open. Lemecki came under, like, wide open, like nobody in the middle of the end zone. So could have made it easier. I guess again we're nitpicking at this point, but it was just Brosmer's day, and the receivers were just finding the open spot to go. So yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more we can really say. The receivers did their job. Honestly, there was a couple drops, but like it didn't matter. Or catchable balls. I don't know if they'll go down with drops, but balls that hit receivers in the hands. So if it was a tight game, you're probably hoping to haul those in. But again, like I said, we're nitpicking. I'm curious to see who you guys go with as far as giving the offensive MVP on the day.
I can go first. I mean, I would go with Brosmer.
Yeah, it's got to be Brosmer.
Everything
I didn't know if
went
you were going
through him.
Jackson just because of the huge first half and the touchdown catches, but all right, yeah, we're all in agreement. Nice job, guys.
It's got to be Brosmer. I mean, he just stainless. I don't know. Like there's not one thing that I could say was wrong. Jackson did have that play. It was like in the middle of the field. I forget what quarter it was in, where it seemed like he could have caught that ball, but he didn't.
Or second quarter, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really matter, but we're nitpicking here.
Right,
but I just feel like Brosmer was just impeccable today, and everything was just going his way.
Yeah, I don't even know. Co's here. Yeah, I don't even know if anyone on the offense had a bad day. Like, no one on the offensive line stood out as far as like getting beat or anything. I mean, some of the screens got blown up. So I mean, maybe that's like on a guard or two. But yeah, I mean, everyone had a great day, and Brosmer just has total command of the offense right now. And heading into November, you want to be playing your best football, and we look like we're a much better team at this point. So don't overhype it. We've got Illinois next week, and Maryland is a very up and down team. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah.
And especially just the way we started out so fast too. Like we've been harping on that. I feel like every game where it's like we'll have a good game, or we'll end with this, Gopher win, but it's like but we just started off slow. Like Brosmer looked jumpy, or the offensive line just looked discombobulated, or things just took us a little bit longer than we'd like to get going. Right. This was like we immediately just hit the ground running, and that's something that
Yeah.
like we said, we've been harping on it, and
Yeah.
seeing it come to fruition today was like, well, so that's how that looks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
kind of nice
Yeah.
when you can just jump out to a quick lead.
Yeah, well, we can transition now that Coach brought up the defensive side of things. The first fourth down stop was a game
I'm
changer.
glad Co Brighton brings that up because when talking about the defense, I'll admit, fellas, during that first drive, Kurt, you chimed in too. It was going to be a long day. We were sure of it. It was going to be just a classic Big Ten in the trenches, see who comes out on top. But that fourth down stop really set the tone, I think, for the rest of the game. We saw it fourth and run or
Yeah.
fourth and one. A loss of 2 on the downs. I mean, that was huge. And then I think the rest is history. The defense just played lights out for the rest of the game. I think the score of the game doesn't really do it justice.
No.
You know, those last 13 points that they scored in the fourth quarter, that was just garbage points,
Yeah.
truly. Backups are in,
Well, not fast enough for that. We'll get to that though.
right. But
That fourth down play in particular, though, I thought for sure PJ was going to call a timeout because it looked like half the D backs were like running around and like they had 2 receivers at the top of the screen and 1 corner out there, and like Cody like kind of like bunched like bumped out there just a little bit, but we still like they had a 2-on-1 out there, and I thought for often as they throw, I thought that was going to just be an automatic, catch the snap and chuck it out there, but they handed it off up the gut, and Kerry Brown back off the injury list came up, and I think Mav took on the blocker that then led him to just go in and knock him down for a 2-yard loss and turnover on downs. And yeah, it set the tone because I thought for sure that, they came out, hit that 25-yard pass play to Ty Felton, and he's a good player, so that's going to happen. But I'm just like, oh boy, here they go. Like it looked like they might have been in a groove to start the game as well, but the defense adjusted fast and took it over from there.
Yeah, overall, felt like we were just able to smother them all game. Like the swarm to the ball, both the run game and the pass game, even in some of their short, quick hitting passes, like we were playing very soft coverage and we
Yeah.
were just on them so fast, just sticking to our lanes. I mean, it was almost like a run fit out on the edge on like a quick hitch or a screen pass, and we just executed perfectly. And yeah, that's kind of hats off to the defensive coaching staff. And like you mentioned, Kurt, having Kerry Brown back, Jalen Logan Redding back, and Matt Baranowski back. Like having all these guys back healthy off the bye was huge, and we saw it, how it kind of played out, having that depth, having the guys. The pass rush, I did not expect to get that much pressure, just the way Maryland gets the ball out so quickly.
Yeah. I just double checked. We didn't actually record any sacks, but the
No.
pressure was definitely there.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially on that Coy's interception.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see. I don't know if it was Strano or what, or if it was that number 46 that was out there. Somebody
Yeah,
just bull
Finney.
rushed. Yeah, he just bull rushed his guy right into the quarterback, I believe, and yeah, we saw the result. And Coy almost housed it. By the way, that was a pretty impressive return.
Yeah.
You could tell he wanted it really bad.
I know.
At the end.
So many guys. I think it's because they're all like taller than him. They come up to him up high, and must be a lot stronger, obviously, than he looks because they can't pull him down. They always try and hit him up high, and he just kind of brushes it off and keeps going, keeps his legs going. Just fun to watch. But yeah, no, that was an exciting play. And then just speaking of the other one, the defensive forces them backwards, and so they're in 3rd and long, and Wally just completely jumps. You can't jump a corner route or a curl route better than what he did, and that was the easiest pick six he's going to get. And yeah, that play in particular, I thought was like, okay, Maryland might be in for a long day here now because 21-0 like that, and the defense taking the ball away is like, yeah, that's what can happen. And I think Maryland might be in trouble with Loxley, but that's okay. We can just focus on the Gophers.
Were you guys shocked that Maryland didn't try to take more shots down the field? Like once they got down quickly, I mean, I know at some point you got to just stick to your game plan, but like it just felt like they were just banging their head against the wall a little bit there with just sticking to the short, like cross the like far side of the field curl routes where it's
Yeah.
like we're just all over it. I don't know why they're not trying to do like a double move or a fake bubble. Like I don't know. I don't know if you guys thought like noticed that at all or had the same thought.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I just was surprised, I guess, like how well we were able to stop the run with not having a ton of guys in there. Like we had a lot of safety help actually this game, which I didn't know if that
Yeah.
was how we were going to play it. So, um, but yeah, no, I thought for sure they would try a little bit more, but I mean, I think you mentioned earlier, just the pass rush kept getting there, kept disrupting things, and there was at least 2 or 3 batted balls down as well. So
Yeah,
when we weren't getting there, I know Henderson had one, Joe Hainer had one for sure. I thought there was a third, but um, I mean, yeah, I mean they just pushed all the right buttons today. I mean, yeah, they scored some points, wasn't perfect, but I mean Maryland's done that too. They're known to be able to throw the ball around, and
yeah,
um, I know they ended up okay, but like you said, Spencer, a lot of that came in garbage time, and yeah, no, I thought I was impressed with how well we held up front, and then I mean credit to those guys getting healthy because obviously that's a huge difference being able to have a rotation of Anthony Smith and Jalen Logan Redding inside instead of just one or the other, which is kind of what it was the last game. But yeah, no, I mean the defensive front and the secondary really all had a strong game.
yeah. And I think, it's an easy answer to you, Max, but I just think that the defense was on today. They just were doing all the right things, and maybe Maryland wasn't just ready to play. Maybe their game plan wasn't right, and maybe their players just weren't ready to go. I mean, you get down early like that at 2, it kind of puts a dagger in you, and you're just trying everything you can to hopefully get back in the game. And unfortunately for them, it just nothing was working. But hey, go Gophs, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
I
we'll take
mean,
that.
Yeah. And they were coming off the USC win too. Like we were when we were going to the UCLA game, we were harping on the
yep,
same things. And we had,
Yep.
I mean, arguably an easier game against UCLA. And look how we started out. Like it was slow. We had to
Yep.
travel. It was tough. Maryland's fighting the same thing.
yeah,
And like you said, they've been up and down. I mean, looking at the stats too, I mean, this was Billy Edwards' probably his worst game. Lowest
Yeah.
yards, lowest completion percentage. His first game with 2 interceptions, lowest QB
Hmm.
rating. Like he just couldn't do anything.
we had 2 tackles for loss, but it felt like more than that. We hit them
Yeah.
at the
Oh
line a
yeah,
lot, and I mean they didn't. They had 104 rushing yards. I don't see the So they averaged 4 yards a rush, which for us, that's very good. I mean, that's got to be one of our best performances of the year for the rush defense.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. These like if you just look at the team stats and the box score at the end, you think like, wow, like Maryland really kept up. Like why MJ Morris was 7 for 8 for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like that, it meant nothing at that point. Like you can just negate all of that
It,
basically.
well, I mean, since we're on that part, like that was the starters out there, but it was so lackadaisical by everybody that was still playing at that point. And
Yeah.
I mean, to the other point though, I don't know why the starters were out there so long. Like that part, like it
Yeah,
went from a nice, relaxing game to then Joyner gets hurt at the end. You're
Yeah.
sitting there like,
I don't like
why is
that.
everyone still out here? And to
Yep.
take that to the offensive side of the ball, I mean, we're up before this. They scored the last one, whatever it was, by 4 scores with not a lot of
Yep.
time left. We're still running Taylor up the gut. Rosemer dropped back and delivers the ball, but then gets hit. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, if
Yeah.
you lose either of those two, I mean, you're not that deep at a lot of these spots that we need them. That we need
right.
guys. So that was the one thing. Like overall, PJ had a fine game coaching, but that was just a big head scratcher. And a lot of people are talking about it and are going to be complaining about it, especially if Joyner is out next week. That's gonna be huge. Yeah.
That's
See,
going to be huge.
I was ticked off. I was ticked off. You went from just
Right.
I was just chilling there, sipping the beer, watching the game, just watching the seconds roll off, and then it's like, why are the starters still in? And then it just got worse and worse and worse, and then Joyner gets hurt. PJ calls a timeout. The subs go in. They score another touchdown, and yeah, that was frustrating. I don't get that at all, to be honest. But there's always one thing I feel like you're left scratching your head about why we did what we did. But Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I really can't think of a reason. I mean, I'm sure PJ will give one. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope he gets hammered on that. Like, look, this could have been a lot worse. Like, we could have had major injuries coming out of
Oh,
this
yeah.
game, which you can't have. Like, you can't do that
Have
with
it.
the remainder of your schedule that you have left. Like, you're still fighting for bowl eligibility. You're one game away,
Playoff.
Yep.
and
We
you've got
got
the toughest.
0.1%
Yeah, we're
in
still.
Vegas to make the
Well,
playoff.
that's got to be going up, right? After
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, this was a
Point
coin
two.
flip game, and you beat
Point
them by
1.5.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something in there. Oh, I just want to shout out guys that I usually maybe I'm a little harsh on that had really good games. Devin Williams, probably his best game of the year, and played a lot more than I thought he would, just because I thought they would be so pass heavy. But he did a really good job in pass coverage. He broke up a pass, I know for sure. Made a nice tackle on the outside, and then Cody Lindenberg again
Yeah.
back-to-back strong games from Cody, and we need that. And then just paired
Hmm.
with Mav back, you saw the
Right.
difference in the run defense with those
Totally.
two out there. Mav is such a I don't even know like a bulldog in the middle. Like he just is like that's just what he's there to do is just go up
Hmm.
and run into the line and hit people and just kind of blow stuff up. And he's really good at that. Good tackler. Um, Also, Kerry Brown, like I didn't think he tackled well against Iowa, and not just the stop on fourth down to start the game, but I thought he had a pretty good game being physical and run support as well. So that was nice to see, especially when you have a guy like Darius Green that was out just for the whole game. That's usually kind of in that role to have Kerry Brown in there, and then Gooseby and Coy, which Gooseby went down again, which he tends to do. So I'm hoping he's back. That kind of seems to be not that he's faking it or anything, but he goes down a lot throughout these games. But that was another injury that happened late was Gooseby went down. So
Right.
as long as Gooseby and Ja are back, we don't have to keep berating that point. But just something to watch out for PJ for next time.
Right.
Yeah. Young guy to shout out, Jackson Howard had 2 tackles today.
Yep.
It's nice to see the young guys getting some playing time. It's a guy that we're pretty deep right now, defensive end, but that's a position that we're going to have to keep reloading every year, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see him getting on the field.
Well, him and then Finney played a lot more. I know he had been rotating a little, but he was out there a lot more. And I don't know how to say his name. Number 43. It's MAU. Is it just Mao? Whatever.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's playing a lot more too. Like I noticed him out there at UCLA. Is he just like an outside backer? That seems to be where they play him. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know.
Strong safety, outside linebacker, just one of those
Yeah.
outside guys in the box. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people played in this game, including a couple of times. I was like, I don't know who that guy even is. I did
Yeah.
not see Coleman Bryson though. I don't.
I saw him in a couple times early in the game,
Okay.
but yeah, I don't think he registered any tackles. I guess I could pull
Okay.
up the stats really
He,
quick, but I saw because he's number 16, right? Because
yes.
Yeah, he
I
did
saw
not
16
register
on
any
the
tackles.
field a
Okay.
couple times, but yeah, he didn't play much.
I like him. Like Gooseby, Coy, and Kerry Brown are going to be. They're just your best 3 safeties at this point. I think Coleman Bryson's still a pretty solid guy to have on the squad. So I'm hoping. Yeah, I don't want to speculate ahead and be like worried about losing guys, but just with his playing time being cut into so much from Coy, I hope he sticks around and sticks it out here because uh, he's a quality player, and I prefer him over other guys that were maybe out today too. So being deep there is just going to help, and I think next year too. I guess if he's listening and giving him a sales pitch, I think you're going to see Kerry Brown probably get moved around a lot as well, like
Yeah.
into that slot spot next year. So uh, I think there's an opportunity for him to play a lot more, especially next year with some people moving on and whatnot. But anyway, we can just
Yeah.
focus on
Yeah.
here.
Well said, Kurt. Yeah. And once once we get our NIL collective here,
Right.
hey, we can keep guys like that.
Exactly. Hit that subscribe button. We're at 105. So if you all tell 10 people and they all subscribe, this thing just makes money now or something.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Goes
We're getting
right
pretty
back to the
close.
athletes.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty close to getting the Sky Pod Parlay profitable, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I messed that
That
up.
was tough.
Did
All
Oklahoma
you who
State not
put
get
money
it?
on, I'm sorry. Max and Kurt were right. I think, Kurt, you said you didn't want to touch that. You were right. Oklahoma, man, they might be one of those dead teams, Max. I don't know about you, or they might be on the bubble because they're not clicking right now.
They're approaching life support. It was
So
tough.
like
Their
yeah.
quarterback,
The
the
guy that played
starter
well
now
against
backup.
BYU was hurt and out.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They have their
Yeah,
7th-year quarterback. He's like last year Peyton Manning, just throwing the ball as far as he can for 30 yards.
yeah.
It's tough, but
Well, just the way they call it, you can tell they don't trust him. But
yeah,
Iowa got the job done, so cool. But when the parlay doesn't hit, not really. But just an interesting day, honestly, of football. Ohio State struggling with Nebraska
yeah,
there. I mean, I think Nebraska's defense is 100% legit. But if you're an Ohio State fan, I think you're worried about your offensive line. And I know as a
yeah,
Gopher fan, that sounds maybe a little bit uh,
yeah.
hypocritical, but I don't know. I again, what grade would you guys give like the offense and defense, and pick your defensive MVP since we did it for offense, but defense is a little tougher in my opinion.
Yeah. I would give the defense probably, I'd say an A minus. I'm giving them an A minus because ultimately, they were able to score a little more than
Yeah,
I feel like they should have. But I mean, to have the turnovers like you did, and you do get a touchdown on the day with Wally, I mean, that's pretty special. And I thought Wally had a great day. You
did.
mentioned it, Kurt. Cody Lindenberg led the team in tackles. He had a tremendous day. Mav being back was awesome. Against a team that gets the ball out quickly to provide that pressure, like they did. I mean, overall, fantastic effort. Um, I got to give it to Wally, I guess, for the player of the game. I mean, defensively, when they have the best receiver in the Big Ten, arguably, and I mean, he did have a great game. I think he had 9 receptions for over 100 yards. But to not get him in the end zone, and also to get that pick six, jumping
Yeah,
the ball like that, I think Wally had a great day.
that's fair.
yeah. I'd probably go Wally too. You can make an argument for Lindenberg. You can make a dark horse argument for Ja Joyner. I mean, didn't show up a ton on the stat sheet, but just every play felt like he had a hand in the face and had pressure on the quarterback. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it was Wally. It was really up to our D-backs to make plays on this Maryland team that we knew we were going to be throwing the ball, and yeah, to come up with a big pick six. I think they said it was his first pick six of his career, which is
Yeah,
surprising. But yeah,
yeah.
I'll go with number 5.
What was your grade on the defense if you had to give one, Max?
For the whole game, I think I agree with Spence. I go A minus. The first 3 quarters is probably an A, but just the way we kind of, like you said, it got a little bit lackadaisical at the end, but still
That
counts towards a grade, right? So it's an A
yeah.
minus.
So that's yeah. I guess I'm just harsher. I kind of with Co just a B plus. Like some points were given up. Like there was a couple consecutive third and longs there where it was still a game, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10 that we gave up back to back. So we probably didn't help out that. I think I said it last show. We're like 120th in the country and getting off the field on 3rd down. Um, but again, nitpicking. It was a B plus, A
Yeah,
minus type game. I think just for the sake of being different. Seriously, the player I feel like I noticed the most was Devin Williams. So Cody Lindenberg. I'm just gonna go linebacking crew. Make it easy. I thought the linebackers showed out much better in pass coverage than what we've seen out of them in general. And yeah, Devin Williams, game of his career, I thought.
yeah. Uh, I guess I'll shout out special teams too. Why not? Not that we needed them a whole lot, but I think that they did okay. Crawford averaged over 40 punt yards today. He had 3. Um, he did have 2 of those punts inside the 20, so shout out to him. And Kesich hit all of his field goals,
Yeah,
so gotta give him props for that. Coy had some nice returns too, and Newman got in there too with a nice kickoff return. So I think ultimately anything's better than what we've seen in years
Right.
past, and yeah, I think all three phases were pretty good.
I sorry, go ahead, Max.
I was just gonna say that the Newbin kickoff return made me laugh because I wasn't sure. I feel like Coy was expecting to catch it, and Newbin, you could hear it on the TV. He's like, "I got it, I got it, I got it,"
Yeah,
and then Coy just had no chance to even get in front to try and block.
not passing up that chance to get
Yeah.
your hands on the football and run it back. I probably would have done the same in a game like that, to be honest. When
Oh
you're
yeah.
up that big, Coy getting us positive punt returns. It is huge for a PJ led team. That's a great
Yeah,
point because I mean PJ's learning to be a little bit more malleable in his coaching style, I guess. Like as the season goes on, he's kind of figuring out how to coach more to his team. But especially when PJ wants to play conservative and just good defense and eventually get to running the ball, special teams are going to be huge. And we've always been lacking in that department, especially the return game. We've never really been able to, you know, set up the offense in great field position, but we've been able to do that a lot more consistently this year. So that's a good point
yeah.
from Bo. One thing I want to
Hmm.
touch on with Dragon, not only did he make both of his kicks, but he had to kick them both to his right, which is the
Yeah.
way he's been missing. So I thought that
Hmm.
was kind of a nice, mental breakthrough, if you will, just to have to kick it to that direction that you've been missing and still be able to make both of them. So hopefully he's out of his little, mishap, whatever you want to call it. That was, head case thing going on with him. But yeah, 2 for 2 on the day. Can't complain there. And he's always great on kickoff because he can just boom it out of the back of the end zone. So makes it easy on the coverage team. And
Yeah.
yeah, Crawford's Crawford, man. I mean, he'll get off a good punt, and then I mean, there's that time where we punted it from like our 38 or something like that, and it was like I think he got it like a 36-yarder off. It's just like, okay, well, that could have been a little better. But
Mm.
again, when we're
I
complaining about stuff like this in a game like that, it means it went pretty well for the team in general. So
Yeah. Nitpicking
absolutely.
here, but yeah,
It was
I love what you said about PJ Kurt about how he's a little more malleable these days, and I just want to be like, doesn't it feel good to just take those risks sometimes? I mean,
yeah,
like, just think about it for these past couple games, few games. I mean, it's been fun. I mean, yeah,
the
you're playing against
USC thing
A
changed up.
USC, UCLA, Maryland team, but I mean, it's been fun to watch, and these Gophers are doing well. And I think that they're hitting all the right things before a big game coming up next week. Illinois, as we all know, the big man has gotten the best of the Gophers for the past what decade,
So
longer,
what?
forever.
So what?
12
I mean, we,
years.
we got a little break there when he went down to Arkansas.
Yeah, but
He put
he's
on a
just
few pounds, and
haunting
the belly
us. He's
got
like
bigger, and he
Freddy
still can't beat him.
Krueger, just always haunting us in our dreams. And Illinois did go down to Oregon, probably the hottest team in the country, convincingly too. But that does not discount how good of a team that they
Yeah,
are. Um,
this
and
is
it's
a
on the road.
this is a legit. I know they didn't do much today. Oregon is Oregon, though, so it's tough to blame them. But this is a legit passing game in Illinois. Luke Altmar's got it going with Franklin and Brandt out there. So they haven't been as good at running the ball. Curious to see how that looks against our defensive front next week. Hopefully everyone's healthy. Hopefully Jaw's healthy. Altmaier had a tough game against us last year, so hopefully that they can pull something from that and still rattle him. Get home on him and whatnot and make him uncomfortable because he will make mistakes if you get pressure on him. That's one thing. But
Yeah.
and finally, I mean, now we're kind of looking ahead already, but when you get this big of a win, you can because there's not a lot of negatives to focus on. There's no Jerzon Newton on that Illinois defensive
Yeah.
line, or
Right.
I forget the other guy's name. If it was Randolph or Rudolph, I don't remember which one. But those two inside just killed us, and they're finally gone. Now the defensive line is still actually okay. They're pretty solid for Illinois for being first time starters, and I
But
think
they're
one
not first
transfer.
round
But they're not
NFL
first
talent.
round. Jerzon Newton, who just, I mean, wrecked the Gophers' dreams in that second half. I mean, that was a game the Gophers should have won. And once Jerzon Newton got back on the field because he didn't play the first half. Completely flipped the game. So him not being there, definitely a positive, and should be a great game. I know it's on the road. They're having a better year, so their fans are turning out a little more. It's still not like, it's not like going to Iowa, right? It's not like
Right.
going to Penn State. I mean, I know I'm naming two of the best, but it's a manageable environment. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Luke Altmaier didn't even technically beat us last year. It was the
Yeah.
backup
Right.
opinion, wasn't it?
That
It
was
was
just
the most painful. Now we're bringing up just pain, but
Hey,
yeah.
you gotta learn to deal with pain before you can dish out pain. I think someone said once. Now I'm
Yep.
gonna say no.
I think you are the one to say that, Kurt.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, with that, what a game. Awesome feeling today. Great homecoming. Tremendous win. Catch us this upcoming week when we preview Illinois. It's going to be another awesome game. Big time matchup. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to our videos. Helps the content. Get us closer to those NIL deals for these athletes. Also, check out thecollegehuddle.com where you can see many college football podcasts from pretty much any college football team in the country. But other than that,
One thing we should just shout out. I'm sure most fans that watch this are aware, but the Dinkytown has their largest match campaign going on right now. They got their biggest donor. Co, thanks for tuning in as always. Dinkytown's got their largest donor, so he's matching dollar for dollar up to $1 million right now. I think through like November 10th or something like that. So
wow.
if you have the money and that's your desire to give a little something to the athletes, just letting you know there is a match campaign going on right now for Gopher football. So feel free to take a look at that. We're not paid by Dinkytown athletes, but we're just helping the same.
But we love the Gophers, just like all you listening, right? We want the athletes to get paid. We want them to stay here because we care. We want this program and all programs.
The real
yeah, right. we want all Gopher athletics to be successful. We love this place. We love this state. We love the Gophers. So, but with that, thank you all for tuning in. As always, we'll see you early next week to preview Illinois. But as always, go Gophers. Love you guys. Good night.